Hello, I would say, my dear guests, not my students. Okay, so today is the continuation of the previous class. We're explaining to you some basics of writing short summaries. Today I want to continue the class where I will show you some other approaches which can be taken in order to raise the effectiveness of your writing skills. I'm just out of a swimming pool. Yeah, I just had a cool time. I like water. It's true. Okay. As for mm, as for the writing, well, I explained to you in the previous class that if you want in, to make your writing skills better, you should think of a few factors which are the main contributors to your final score. The first one is the grammar component. It's very important that your writing is free of very stupid, I say, mistakes. Yeah. Well, another thing which you should take into consideration, we should always bear in mind, is the vocabulary side, because if you use relatively easy words, primitive words, or as they say, low-level vocabulary, so it won't help you to get a high score, that's for sure. And finally, you should be able to generate interesting ideas. Usually some of my students say, oh, I can't lie to people. I have been brought up another way. I'm a pie boy or I'm a pie girl. I can't make up lies. Usually when I hear somebody say such things, I ask myself, should I really continue teaching this guy? I don't want to teach you to lie. I want to teach you to generate ideas. Because if we follow this logic, that means only one thing: um, all writers, in particular fairy tale writers, so are liars, sinful guys. Of course, no. I just wanted to start using your imagination. No imagination, no good writing. It's kind of axiom. It's a theorem, which doesn't mean any proof. Okay. In order to show you how to develop your writing skills, I need the previous option of the short essay which I wrote yesterday. Uh, I need I need to see it. Yeah, here it is. And the screen demonstration, I should activate it. Yeah, if you remember, uh, yesterday we wrote about somebody describing his neighbor. And the neighbor turned out to be a beautiful woman, right? And this guy seems to have fallen in love with a woman, and somehow he gives us to understand what kind of feelings he's got towards her. Now, modified version number 2. Let's write it down. So, modified version number 2. What does mean modified? It means that the main idea will be the same, but I will change. I will try to change the vocabulary and the grammatical sides of the writing in order to show you that by amending these two components, so you can get a much better result. Much better result. Okay. If we compare, if we look at the first writing, we will see that the sentences which make up the short essay are rather short, and they are not connected with each other, which is not a good speaking style, not a good writing style. We should do some connectors linking sentences with each other. It's much better. Well, let's see how we can do that. In other words, I want to show that we should extend sentences. Okay, I have a neighbor by name Mary. By name Mary. Well, okay. She's a married woman. She's a married woman at the age of 35. At the age of 35. Remember to use the hyphen 35, right? So I have a neighbor by name Mary, and she's married. She's a married woman at the age of 35. So what else did I write? Okay. So we can use this little phrase, somebody. So about her profession, right? So if you remember in the first version I wrote, so she's an actress, right? Well, it's very simple. It's very primitive. We can say, we can use an idiom. For example, a little bird has told me that she is a professional. I'm sorry. A professional theater actress. What else did you write? Yeah, sometimes she says hello to me. You see, sometimes she says hello to me. Instead of the word sometimes, we can substitute this word with an idiomatic expression now and then. Instead of say hello, we can use a better word, greet. Instead of and also I can use the phrasal verb come across. Come across means to meet somebody unexpectedly. So we can say whenever we come across each other, she greets me saying hello. Now, what is good about this sentence? Look, first of all, I just used the word whenever. For some psychological reason, not native speakers are afraid of using words with the element ever. Wherever, whenever, whoever, etc. So they're afraid of using words with this ending. There is no reason to be afraid of using such expressions, such words, because they are the ones most frequently used by native speakers. Of course, you can say when we come across each other, but it is much better to say whenever we come across each other. Another widespread mistake and not native speakers tend to make is the following. Especially it concerns Russian speaking and Uzbek speaking students. You know, they make the following mistake. When they're about to use the phrasal verb come across, they add the preposition with. When we come across with each other. No, that's bad English. We never say come across with somebody. No, it's a stupid mistake. Whenever we come across each other, what does she do? She greets me. And another positive moment in grammatical terms is my using the participle one construction, saying hello. Saying hello. I just want to give you a very important piece of information which you should always bear in mind. You know which one? I will give you two sentences, okay? And each of them is easy, and the translation is the same, but stylistically, in terms of stylistics, one of them is much better than the other one. So sentence number one. She came up to me and asked, okay, and asked something. It doesn't matter what exactly. Asked about something. Again, he came up to me and asked about something. It is a rather primitive sentence. There isn't anything really challenging about that. It's comprehensible, and when somebody is making their first steps in picking up English, so they usually tend to speak this way. What I'm to say is that they use two verbs with conjunction and blah 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 and blah 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 too. Yeah, it's comprehensible and to some extent correct, but stylistically, it's not a very good option to choose, because native speakers would say like this: he came up to me asking about something. Remember, whenever we've got two verbs, meaning actions which occur one after another immediately, the best option to use the verbs is that the second one is used in the form of the participle one construction. Yeah. See, whenever we come across each other, she greets me and say hello and says hello. Yeah, it's okay to say like this, but better it would say saying hello. Again, he came up to me asking something, asking for about something. Okay, here, whenever we come across each other, she greets me saying hello. If you want to sound natural, please try to understand and adopt the speaking rule in order to sound more natural. Okay, thank you. So what else? Sometimes relevant, and I'm happy. Okay, and that makes me happy. You see, instead of the phrase "and I'm happy," we can use the complex object construction that makes me happy. That makes whom? Me happy. Yeah, we don't use the verb be in the sentence, however we could, but no, we need to use it. So, and that makes me be happy or feel happy or just happy. And that makes me happy. That is much better. So another sentence which I can see, I like her because she is very beautiful. Okay. There is another good writing style rule. Before you start writing the main idea of the sentence, so make sure that you introduce it with a so-called linking device. Linking device. I will write it down here. Linking device. Okay. It is a group of words which connect this particular sentence with the previous one. So let me see how I can do that. I'm going to write about, again, what was that? So again, I like her because she's very beautiful. Okay, I can write, I should admit that I'm, okay, I have fallen in love with her because she is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Now let's take a look at this sentence. What's good about it? First of all, as I told you, so I introduced the sentence with the help of the linking construction or lead-in construction. I should admit that. So, and after the main idea of the sentence starts. Okay. Then, in grammatical terms, I use the present perfect tense, which is another positive moment. By writing this way, I show the examiner that I know how to use correctly this tense, because there are few guys who can use the present perfect tense correctly. So they always get confused. Instead of the present perfect tense, they use the past simple tense and vice versa, which is even worse. So, okay, fall in love with somebody because she is absolutely beautiful. Okay, the next sentence. There is a small garden near our house. Again, remember I've just told you that before we start writing a sentence, we'd better find a more or less corresponding um, good leading phrase in order to introduce the next sentence. In this case, we can use, for example, the word moreover, moreover, and I use the construction there is a garden, but I should add some adjectives before the word, before the noun, to make my writing style better. Remember, the more adjectives, the better your writing style. Moreover, there is a small, again, we can write the word cozy, cozy garden with lots of, somebody would write trees, yeah? But it's very common to use the word trees. It's a very easy word. Instead of the word trees and instead of the word flowers, we can pick up a particular tree species, for example, birch, to show the examiner that you know these words, because what's the main idea behind your writing? To show off your writing skills, yeah? In other words, you should prove the examiner that you are quite good at writing. So, and you can do it by using extraordinary words. Okay, oh, there is a small cozy garden with lots of birches, under which people can relax on the benches. On the benches. I have written the article there in the brackets because so we can use it, but it's not necessary to do in this particular case. Okay, there is a small cozy garden with lots of birches under which people can relax on the benches. And possible one, doing what? Either reading okay, a magazine, or just talking to someone else, or just talking to someone else about their affairs. Okay, let's take a look at this sentence. It is a very complicated one. Let's take a look at the construction. First of all, this sentence starts from the leading phrase, moreover. Again, here is another one. I should admit that in this sentence, moreover. Then another positive moment is that I use the construction there is. And in vocabulary terms, I use the word cozy, birch. It's a type of trees. It's a national Russian symbol of their country. Well, I also use the construction either or. Yeah. Again, when I say that for some psychological reason, not native speakers are afraid of using the construction either or neither nor. Well, we will talk about it a bit later. And I use gerunds, reading and talk. No, it's not gerund. Participle one construction, doing what? Reading, and doing what? Talking. Well, and the word affairs, it's a higher vocabulary word, higher level vocabulary word, and it's a good word choice. Again, these reasons make the sentence much better instead of the one which we included into my previous writing, because in comparison with this one, the one contained in the first one looks quite primitive. Again, there is a small garden near our house. You see, I have extended the sentence very much, giving some extra ideas, extra bits of information to grab the reader's attention. And who's the reader? Very likely to be an examiner. Okay, then, so the universal recipe of good writing style is to include relevant particular moments, extensions. Then the next sentence, on weekends, she comes out to read a book there. Okay, on weekends. So instead of on weekends, I can write when she's off, because the construction to be off is translated not to go to work, right? When she's off, which usually occurs on weekends, she goes to the garden. Instead of writing to, I can write the collocation as well, which has got the same translation. Okay, when she's off, which usually occurs on weekends, she goes to the garden as well. To do what? To read a book. Read is very primitive. Oh, we can use the phrasal verb to thumb through. To thumb through a magazine. Oh, by the way, I have heard a lot of students mispronouncing this word. Instead of they say magazine. Not magazine. Magazine, yes. Magazine, no. Hotel, yes. Hotel, no. Be careful when you're about to say out such tricky words. Make sure that you know, that you remember how to pronounce these words correctly. Again, when she's off, which usually occurs on the weekends, she goes to the garden as well. To do what? To thumb through a magazine. Thumb through, thumb and through. That means to look through some text very fast, not concentrating on the text itself. So the next sentence. She says that sometimes she needs to be alone for a while to think. Where is it? Because she wants to think about her plans. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, we can say in her Instagram. Why not? Instagram, I guess it should be capitalized, right? Instagram. I have never used it. I know how to write it correctly. Wow. Okay, you will see yourselves the correct spelling of this word. Okay, I'm sorry. You see, I'm not perfect. I'm not a writing angel. Okay, in her Instagram, she explains why she likes spending instead of some time, we can write a while in that place, which means in the garden. We can use colon, because now we're going to explain what exactly she means. She explains why she likes spending a while in that place. While she's there, she can. Which one did I use in the first option? She can, okay, think over. She can think over her current plans, so that no one bothers her, comma. She also says it is a good shelter to find mental peace in her mind. Yeah, why not? You see, the original sentence is like this. Okay. Um, she says that sometimes she needs to be alone for a while because she wants to think about her plans. Oh, and I have made some extension in her Instagram. You see, the original version doesn't contain this information, doesn't have any reference to any uh, anything like Instagram or you name it, Facebook, social network. In her Instagram, she explains why she likes spending a while in that place. While she's there, she can think over the current plans so that no one bothers her. Yeah, what is good about this sentence? First of all, as you can see, it's extended, and it contains much extra information, relevant information, making my description quite accurate and attention grabbing. Remember, it's a very important capability of attracting the reader's attention to what you're writing about by including extra info. Yeah, but you should be able to set all these bits like a mosaic so that it gives a very nice, I would say, geometrical shape. This mosaic should be interesting and beautiful. Okay, I'm not saying that my writing is beautiful, of course. So what is good? First of all, I'm using a gerund here after verb likes. Then, in vocabulary terms, I use the construction a while. It's a good thing to use. Think over, another phrasal verb, which means to think in detail. Oh, by the way, never say in details. It's a very serious mistake. Never say like this. To think in details. No, in detail, yes. The current plans, so that, oh, this is a very nice connector. So that no one bothers. It's another good vocabulary choice, word choice. Shelter is another good vocabulary choice. To find, um, in grammatical terms, it's also a very interesting construction. To do what? To find. Many not native speakers don't know which construction to choose, either a gerund or an infinitive, because the translation is identical. So there is such a construction which is known as the infinitive of purpose. Purpose, reason. To do what? It is a good shelter to do what? To do something, to find mental peace. And that's why we use an infinitive. Okay. Mental is another positive vocabulary word. Okay, the next sentence. She keeps a cat at home because, which she likes very much. It's not a very good writing style. I will explain to you why. The previous sentence tells us about what she does in the park, right? And abruptly, the next sentence tells us something about an animal she keeps at home. It's a not very good thing to do. There should be some kind of logical breach connecting the next sentence telling us about her animal with the previous one. We should do it somehow. How, by the way? It's a good question. See, is it said and done? Okay. Well, we can write like this. By the way, it was there where she found a cat, but I say a kitten instead of cat, a kitten which has been living in her apartment, apart, apartment. Yes. Since then, you see, I have connected the previous sentence where we talk about what she does in the garden with the pet she has at home. There is now I've got the logical connection, and even this logical connection is introduced with the help of this leading phrase. By the way, well, instead of the word cat, use the word kitten. It is better in vocabulary terms. And grammatically, it is much better. Not better. Okay, it is a very good one because it contains the present perfect continuous tense. Because since then up to now, whenever we talk about an activity which started to occur in the past and still is going on, we use the present perfect continuous tense. But in American English, we can use the present perfect tense. Okay, where she found a kitten which has been living in her apartment since then. Instead of the word flat, I use the word apartment. Also a good word choice. Then my neighbor loves it so much that she buys the animal the best cat food, which is very expensive. Okay, let's modify this sentence. So Mary, right? Mary is so crazy about the pet. Yeah, it's one of mine, by the way. So Mary is so crazy about the pet that she spoils it daily. And now I should use the present participle one construction. Doing what? Buying it. The most expensive, and correspondingly the best cat's food. Okay, Mary is so crazy about it. You see, I'm using the construction so that, then I also use the construction, participle one construction, doing what? She does something. She's so crazy, blah, blah, blah. Doing what? Buying is the participle one construction. Then I also show the examiner that I knew the superlative degree construction, the most expensive. And in vocabulary terms, the word correspondingly is very nice too. Correspondingly means, which means that the best cat's food. Okay, then the next sentence. She is strange a bit because she never speaks to anybody. You see, again, we cannot see any logical connection between this sentence with the previous one, because the previous one, it tells us something about her pet, how much she loves it, and etc. And now the next sentence's main idea is that its message is that she's a bit strange. Okay, we need at least a more appropriate leading phrase. For example, as for her nature, Mary seems to be weird, which means strange instead of the word strange. And the construction seems to is much better. So Mary seems to be weird to many others. Because most of the time, which means nearly always, most of the time, she is rather reserved. She's rather reserved. Again, participle one construction. Not or wanting or not desiring to communicate even with those who are your fans. You see, it is much, much better than the original sentence. Again, the original one is she's strange a bit because she never speaks to anybody, but I know there are a lot of people who would like to speak to her. Okay, seems to, it's a if I don't correctly, this construction uh, is known as the complex subject. Weird is instead of the word strange, it is a higher vocabulary level word. So most of the time is another good vocabulary option. Rather reserved instead of doesn't want to talk. Uh, Possible one construction again. Instead of want, desire. Infinitive. Infinitive, I'm sorry. And communicate is much better than just speak to. Okay, then still I'm in love with her. Still I'm in love with her. Okay. However, it is another linking and leading phrase. However, despite all the um, peculiarities, I guess, peculiarities of hers. Peculiarity is something which seems to be strange. Despite all the peculiarities of hers, I love her. I love her very much. Um, and I suspect. Okay, the phrase that she knows about my feelings seems to be quite easy. And I suspect she's aware of my feelings. To her, again, easy. That's why instead of to, I use towards her. Towards her. Sometimes when we both outdoors. Oh, a verb is missing. When we both are outdoors. And nobody wrote me about that. Okay. She stares at me. Uh, and what I thought, okay. Um, so we can unite this because sometimes when I happen to be next to her, she stares at me. She stares at me as though she wanted to give me to understand that she can see through me. It's an idiom. See through somebody means like scan. Oh, I can see what I'm feeling. I can see your thoughts. She can see through me. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's much better because it is much more complicated. It contains some smaller sentences which are united with the rest of the sentence with the conjunctions. For example, because, as though. By the way, as though is a very serious construction. Remember that after this construction, as if or as though, after this complex conjunction, we never use the present simple tense. We can use either the past simple or the past perfect tense. Okay, give me to understand. That means hint. Give me a hint, or give me to understand that she can see through it. I'll just explain to you the meaning of this phrase. A verb that means to scan through, to understand what the person is thinking about. Okay. So this is the modification. Due to the modification, vocabulary and grammatical modifications on the one hand, and some extensions containing new facts, new smaller addictions. This writing is much better than the previous one, though the main idea is the same. This is my message to you. If you want to, if you really want to improve your writing, so first of all, write the foundation. This is the first version, and then looking at each sentence of what you have written down, try to extend it, try to make it better, to amend it by using extra super duper vocabulary words and grammatical structures, and you will see that first of all the volume will be will be greater, and the style will be much better. Thank you very much for your attention. So I believe that it has been useful for you. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me. Bye.